All right, well, thanks for coming out tonight for our 12th annual Legends at the Ballpark with IPMR, and we'll take questions for Ozzie Smith whenever you guys are ready.
Ozzie, have you had a chance to talk to any of these Chiefs players?
And I just walked in.
Just walked in. Are you gonna talk to them?
Probably. You know, Pat, the main man over there, probably have to introduce me to everybody, because I hear he's a star around here. Right, Pat?
What piece of advice would you give those guys? What's the most important thing you can tell them?
Well, you know, here again, it's all about working hard and putting in a hard day's work, and knowing that you're only going to get out of something what you put in it. If you don't put anything in, then you shouldn't expect anything in return. And you know, this being the starting point for a lot of those young guys, you know, it's here where you develop your work ethic, and hopefully a work ethic that will follow you the rest of your career, that will allow you to get the chance to spend some time in the big leagues.
How's the game changed since you've been in the league?
Besides the money?
Besides the money.
You know, I don't know if it's changed that much on the field. You still got to catch the ball, you got to throw the ball, you got to hit, and you got to run. Now, I know with some of the things that have happened over the last 10, 15 years, the ball's going a little bit further. But hopefully baseball is getting a grip on performance-enhancing drugs in the game, and really putting some deterrents in place, and a deterrent being something that deprives someone of the ability to do what it is that they love to do. I think we've seen over the last three years here anyway that it seems to be coming back to normal. There's always going to be some people who are going to challenge the system and try and get away with whatever you can get away with.
What are your thoughts on the instant replay?
I think there has to be some tweaks. I think we're, at this point, probably overusing it a little bit. I think that when you start questioning every call at first base and stuff, I think when we started out, it was to make sure that the ball was fair or foul, or whether or not the ball went over the fence. And I think that when you start using it for every play out, close play out at the base pass, it takes away the human element.
You know, in your travels of, you know, coming to Peoria or other places, when you get a chance to, whether it's just talk to younger players or players at, you know, like a single A level, what are the kind of things that you talk to them about? Any wisdom that you impart when you
well, the most important thing was just what I said a minute ago, is that, you know, you got to develop a good work ethic. And I think that at this level, kids probably they have somewhere they're going. You know, they know that there's somewhere that they're reaching for, something that they're reaching for, and that hopefully being a stop at the big league club. And you know, so I don't think it takes much incentive here. But the important thing, if there's anything to take away, is to know that no matter what level you're playing at, it's the same thing that I talk to young school kids about, making sure that you work hard to be the very best that you can be. Now, that doesn't mean that you win every day, but if you take that approach and you apply that approach each and every day, then you'll usually land on your feet.
Who are the best shortstops in the game today, in your mind?
Last year I presented Andrelton Simmons with his first Gold Glove. I saw some highlights of some plays he made yesterday, which was pretty impressive. But I also had Terry Pendleton, who told me to keep my eye on him because he's down there in Atlanta with him. You know, I think Troy Tulowitzki's having a great year. I think Elvis Andrus is a good shortstop. You know, they're all different in the way that they go about their business, but they're all very good for their clubs.
What do you think of just this year's Cardinal squad?
Well, they've gotten off to a slow start offensively. I think their pitching's been great. You know, they've had their problems bullpen-wise. You know, I get a chance to spend 3 weeks with them in spring training, and I know that they're working extremely hard. And sometimes the harder you work, the further it gets away from you. So I think that as the season goes on here, when they all finally get it all together, I think they're getting everybody healthy and back in there now. And it's been a challenge for Mike to find two guys in the lineup that are hitting at the same time. I think for his first 2 years it was pretty easy. You know, he just put the lineup out there and let the guys go play, and everything worked out. But these are part of the adversities that go along with managing. I think he probably has 2 or 3 more gray hairs than he had at this time last year, because it is a real challenge sometimes when you make wholesale changes and stuff, and they certainly have made some wholesale changes with the personnel. So it's all about gelling and getting the right chemistry and stuff, and I think that's what he's in search of.
Forgive me if I'm putting you on the spot, but would you ever want to become a manager in any capacity? Are you kind of looking at that, or are you happy? It looks like you're happy where you're at, huh?
Yeah, I'm happy. I got rid of some of these wrinkles in my forehead. I don't have to worry about hitting sliders and curveballs. And you know, when you start managing, you start coaching, you actually spend more time at the ballpark than you did as a player. And I think for us that played 19, 20 years, it's to get away from the game and to try and enjoy life and enjoy your family a little bit more. And I think that when you become a manager, it takes away from all of that. So it defeats the purpose of getting out of it to try and find some semblance to a regular life.
You were an incredible infielder. What was it? How did you get started with doing the gymnastics?
Well, as a kid growing up in Southern California, I was one of those kids. I grew up across the street from a wood factory where they used to build pallets, so there was always plenty of sawdust. So we used to go over there and I used to tumble in the sawdust. I was one of those kids that would take a dare. You know, you can't jump over that picket fence, or I bet you can't do this, I bet you can't do that. So tumbling was always part of it. I used to go to the trampolines on Thursdays, which was a family fun center, and they had the in-ground trampolines, and I used to tumble on that. And when I got to the big leagues in 1978, my rookie year, after we finished working out, Gene Tennis was my teammate. I had Raleigh Fingers, Gaylord Perry, Dave Winfield. We used to run 2 miles after we practiced, and I didn't particularly enjoy running. So I was near the back of the pack, so they gave me a hard time about being a young guy and being at the back of the pack. So to show them I wasn't tired, I did a round-off back handspring, and Gene Tennis had girls that were in the gymnastics. So he wanted me to show them that I could do it at some point in time during the season, which I wasn't able to do. So the final day of the season, which was Fan Appreciation Day, they thought it would be a good idea for me to do it going out to my position. A little reluctant to do it because at the time in San Diego, the chicken was the entertainment, and I didn't want to show up the chicken. So I reluctantly did it. They liked it so much they asked me to do it opening day the following year, and it became my trademark.
Do we have anything else
And
for
no,
Ozzie?
and no, I don't do it these days.
When's the last time we've done it?
2002, and it wasn't pretty.
Anything else?
Well, thank
All right.
you guys for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.